Welcome back to Red Devils TV, the realest channel on YouTube. It's your Manchester United versus Bournemouth preview. Now, what time is it? It's just this time because last time Bournemouth slapped us 3-0 and now it's time for Manchester United to return the favour. I personally think we will win 3-0 and that's not because it's just this time. That's because I feel like the way we've been playing recently, we've been playing poorly against great teams and playing against teams that are very underrated and can beat anyone on their day. And unfortunately, in recent times, they've played on their day against Manchester United. Now, Bournemouth's manager, I'm not really sure what his name is, but has just won Manager Player of the Month for the March campaign. They're undefeated and they have been in great form. Obviously, Solanke, Semedo, their left back, I can't pronounce his name, but the Hungarian left back, they're all in massive good form. So Man United have got to be on their A game. Now, how do I think we're going to shape up? I think we're going to shape up in our standard 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm not sure if Rashford's going to start in this one because of the injury possibility, but I'm going to just leave Rashford out so far. So we're going to have Garnacho, Antony, Højlund as the front three. Bruno Fernandes in between the wingers with Casemiro and Mainu as the midfielders, with the likes of Wan-Bissaka and Dalot as the fullbacks, with Harry Maguire and Campbell as the centre-backs and Onana in net. Now, I think that team can definitely get the job done, and one thing that we need to start doing more in this new formation is give Højlund the service. You know, he's having a goal drought again. And before he got injured, he was, by 7 goals in 6 matches, whatever it was. He was scoring goals for fun. And we need to get that Højlund back. We need to give Højlund them chances because, as we learned before he got injured, that when you give him the chances, whether it's a yard or 5 yards, if you give him a chance, he will no doubt try and deliver. And I think this is a blessing in disguise is the best way to describe it with Højlund because he'll be so frustrated because of the lack of chances he gets. When he does get them chances, he needs to be really clinical. So maybe that could improve his composure, but as well, he's your striker at the end of the day. He's what we spent £70 million on. He's supposed to be the game changer, the one that we need to, the one that needs to score the goals almost. It's common sense. And creating for our striker needs to start happening more. Now, Garnacho and Antony against Chelsea, they were brilliant together. And Højlund didn't really get much service but from either of them because, let's be honest, they are very selfish wingers. But at the same time, Bruno Fernandes needs to be stepping up. Mainu needs to start creating more. I think he's brilliant technically and defensively, he's really solid. And I love Mainu to bits. But I never really see him forward passing to someone like Højlund. It's always out wide when we're trying to build up in possession. So at the end of the day, and I feel like Casemiro as well, and our fullbacks, we've just got to start creating a lot more on them chances. Now, I went to the Liverpool game where we drew 2-2. And I was very concerned because Rashford and Wan-Bissaka were barely communicating in that game. I was sat right in front of him. I was sat right next to the Scousers. It was a brilliant game. But I saw Dalot and Garnacho communicating. I saw Harry Maguire and Campbell communicating. Casemiro and Mainu and Bruno, they were all communicating. But that left-hand side and that left flank was very disturbing to see that Rashford and Wan-Bissaka were not communicating whatsoever. So chemistry needs to be improved. The work rate needs to be improved. And players just stick into their natural positions and keep the structure as it should be. Bruno Fernandes needs to make sure he's not pressing and running around like a headless chicken. Like, Højlund's got to be ready for when the service does come to him. Because if we give Bournemouth the opportunities to score, they'll bloody score. Like, we struggled against Brentford. Brentford controlled the game for the entire game, really. United got the 1 goal from Mason Mount, but then we went and conceded literally, 80 seconds later. And I rate Bournemouth a lot more than I do with Brentford. And Bournemouth can shut a game off quicker than Brentford. Now, Brentford were brilliant last season, but this season they've kind of dropped off. They are around the relegation zone. I don't think they'll get relegated, but that's completely irrelevant. But what I'm talking about is that Bournemouth are threatening and they have a lot of threats in their team. Like I said, Solanke, Semedo, Tavernier. They have a lot of players, like I said, that are very threatening. And United need to make sure we're marking the right players. Now, who do I think United's key player is going to be in this game? I am going to say Rasmus Højlund. I feel like that we'll see him score tomorrow, and it's going to be great for his confidence, for United fans, and probably even Erik ten Hag, because you can see when Erik ten Hag's talking about Rasmus Højlund, he's frustrated and passionate when he's talking about Rasmus. And I just want to see Rasmus score as well, and Garnacho. I want everyone to score, to be honest. But as well, we need to focus and we need to be clinical, like I said. So even if Rasmus doesn't score, as long as we win, that's all that matters, because with the poor performances from West Ham and Liverpool in the Europa League, you know, that's becoming a very low possibility now of Champions League qualification for Manchester United. Now, I understand United should not be relying on other Premier League teams to try and get us Champions League qualification. But at the same time, you know, we kind of do want to be in the Champions League. You know, we've got this new format starting next season, and it would be great to start in the Champions League with the new structure of the 24 to 25 season, because apparently it's all being revamped and restructured. So there's going to be many more teams going to be added to the competition. It's going to be a much more competitive competition. Now, United aren't there competitively, but being in the Champions League, it gives us more attraction for possible transfers. It gives us more transfer budget. So you want to be finishing as high as possible. And that Champions League spot, as we've learned in recent years by certain managers being sacked because of not reaching Champions League qualification, I just don't want the same happening to Erik ten Hag. I want to give Erik ten Hag another season. But there are rumours that someone like Nagelsmann could be joining Manchester United, and there are a lot of people at United who would like Nagelsmann. Well, obviously, these are the behind-the-scenes people. But I stick with Ten Hag, and I'm hoping that we have a convincing performance, because it has been a while since United have played really well. And playing away from home in Bournemouth, it's going to be challenging because their stadium is quite small. But think of that Luton game. We scored, 2 goals in, 7 minutes? Whatever it was, and then we let Luton get back into the game. Yes, it finished 2-1, but then for the rest of that first half, they dominated us, and then we controlled the game a bit more in that second half. But I'm just hoping we can start strong and not drop off, because we've had periods in certain games recently where we start off strong and we get counter-attacks because there's no one's focusing defensively and no one's tracking back. So with Rashford being out injured, Garnacho will definitely track back. Anthony will definitely track back. So hopefully with Ten Hag's system, having the full-backs being relentless, having the wingers drop back, having that midfield core of Bruno, Mainu and Casemiro, hopefully we can get the job done. But like I said, I'm going for a 3-0 prediction for Manchester United versus Bournemouth. They are a very good team, but I just hope that United can convincingly beat them. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below on your score predictions if you've made it this far into the video. Thank you, as always. And also, thank you for 1,500 subscribers, you know. On to 2K. I really appreciate it. Obviously, we've got 1,600 and so on and so on. But yes, on the road to 2K. I love doing this content. So if we can get 2K by the end of the season, I'd be over the moon. Anyway, thank you for watching. Leave a like and I'll see you next one.